Welcome, Solara here. I hope you guys are doing well. I'm here for another quick read. Quick read for me, because I can talk. But these readings are anywhere from 30 to 40 minutes. I try to keep it at that. These are what I'm calling part of a cycle breaking series of readings based upon the fact that we just entered into Virgo season a little over 24 hours ago now at the time of recording. And Virgo energy is all about the integrating of the mind with the heart to prepare us for the justice that's coming through in Libra season. So we've been being prepared for this justice. We've been in a season of justice since the sun entered Leo, as is always the case, but this year it's real crunk because of where we are in ascension. So as such, my guidance has been to come on here as often as possible to do these readings, see what spirit has to speak to you guys to help us all navigate our way out of these layers. Some of you are at the final rung of these energies that have been a part of karmic cycles for you across timelines and incarnations. Some of you are still working your way through the layers, but either way, we're all at this juncture where it's a very, very powerful time to align and break through for as long as we are walking in cooperation with our truth. And that's what Virgo energy calls us to do. It calls us into the radically honest places and spaces within our own souls. That's the Hermit, in order that we can alchemize what it is that needs to be alchemized to bring ourselves into higher levels of balance and justice, which then begins to be materialized through the energy of Libra. Okay, so I want to take a moment to welcome you. Welcome if you're visiting for the first time. My name is Solara. I'm not for everyone, so if you're not vibing with me, that's fine. I hope you find the beings, the community that is a right fit for you. It's really important that we get in where we fit in right now, and that we are in frequential alignment with whoever we are sharing our energy with or spending our time with, even online. Okay, so welcome if you are a returning visitor. Welcome if you are a subscriber. Welcome if you've been here from day one or you've joined somewhere along the way. I thank you so much for being here. Thank you for your love and for all of your support. Okay, so my guidance was to go into the Oracle of Shadows and Light. It's an Oracle deck by Lucy Cavendish. It's one of my favorites because it calls out shit. It calls out the shit that's going on that other people are trying to pull you into, but most importantly, it calls out the internal stuff that we have to deal with, that once we alchemize that, doesn't matter how much someone else tries to throw at us externally, it doesn't stick. Okay, so let's see what's coming through today to be spoken about. Guidance, but where will it lead you? At the bottom, this is the Sea Beacon Fairy. The number 3 card, guidance, but where will it lead you? Okay, what actually came out is Amara, the Menahun, Aloha Healing, the number 19 card. Okay, so the number 19 card in the tarot is connected to the sun, and the number 3 card is connected to the Empress. Okay, now the Sea Beacon Fairy card in this particular deck is about it's a card that kind of leaves you hanging, because it speaks about the fact that you may be getting some kind of guidance that feels aligned, but it's not necessarily right. And the reason it feels aligned is because it is blanketed under a lot of illusion, whether the illusion is there because someone is purposely or purposefully trying to deceive you, or whether the illusion is there because it's still a part of your programming that you need to dismantle. So be very, very aware. For this Aloha Healing card to come out, the number 19 card is connected in the tarot to the Sun card. This is the card where you come back home into wholeness, where you recoup your vitality, your solar energies, what it is that you've lost through the trauma cycles. But every year when you go through your solar return, you are replenished for your next trip around the sun. Every Leo season, as the sun enters into Leo, we collectively go through a planetary solar return where we all are replenished with the solar energy we need for another cycle around the sun. And this is why right after Leo season, the energy harvesting shenanigans become crunk. Okay, now as I was pulling those cards just now, my guides reminded me of a story that might be of importance to the message that wants to come through. Okay, it's really important on this journey that as you seek to find help and guidance, that you don't let anyone tell you who you are in ways that feel definitive or as if they're defining you. Really important not to let anyone else define you. Okay, this was a lesson I learned, I wouldn't say the hard way, but it wasn't the easiest way to learn. I didn't have too many mentors. I wasn't in a position to pay anyone. I didn't have the money. I didn't have the resources. I had to kind of wing it and go through a lot of this process of waking up alone. I did have one or two mentors that found me along the way. I had one particular mentor, and she was really very helpful in many ways, but there was one thing that as I began to wake up higher into my power, that I began to realize that she had done, or she had tried to do to me, whether it was conscious or unconscious, and I had allowed it, and it was wrong. And that is that she would tell me these stories about how she had tuned into our past lives together, and that she had been, that I had been her sidekick in every life, and that I was here to be her sidekick again. And the way that she expressed those stories, it seemed very nice to me at the time because I didn't know who I actually was cosmologically, but she still was putting me in the position of being her sidekick. You are nobody's sidekick. We are here to work together. There are some beings who are going to be appointed into positions of leadership, but that doesn't put them over other people in terms of overwriting the principle and personal authority we have over self. Now, these cards are coming out, this story is coming up because this is, I'm getting a few things coming through here. For one thing, this is like a, almost like a warning of be careful of how you allow beings in healing modalities, very specifically healing modalities. So whether it's a reader, a person who does body work, psychologist, it doesn't matter, someone who's there to help you heal back into your wholeness, be careful of how you allow their opinions to define you. Okay, there's nothing wrong with getting guidance, but if a person tries to usurp your position of being author over yourself, they are out of order. And anytime you accept a script for your life that isn't in alignment with who you actually are, you are consenting to lower contracts, let's put it that way, but you are also not fully anchored in yourself, and in that, when you're not fully anchored in yourself, you're not fully protected. So be very, very careful of the ways that other beings that you seek out healing from, how you allow for what they tell you to define you. Be especially careful with those that want to come to you and tell you they know something about you that doesn't resonate. Don't hold on to anything that anyone ever tells you that doesn't resonate, even me. So people who come to me, for example, for tarot astrology, I channel through your chart, okay? I have people tell me all the time that what I'm saying brings confirmation to what they already know. That's how it's supposed to be. I may share some newer details. It may or may not, resonate, and that's fine. It doesn't have to. It might not resonate at all. It might resonate at a later date. But what I'm not here to do is try to tell you or convince you of who you are. And you're not here to try to convince yourself to fit into a box, something that somebody else has spoken over you. Be very, very aware of how you allow certain stories at this time to lead you where you're going. Because if it's not the right story that is in alignment with your truth, then it will lead you astray. That's what I'm coming to right now in this energy. And more importantly, it may be time for some of you to let go of a story that you have been holding on to based upon what somebody else told you. Okay, so this might be a part of breaking free and out of the cycle also. And bear in mind that sometimes the stories that we resonate with on one level of the journey, that story is there to get us to a certain point, but when we break into a higher timeline, that story no longer resonates with us because we have already surpassed it, and that's okay. There's something here in this energy about somebody holding on to something, some kind of guidance or something that has defined them on this healing path so far, that now it's time to let it expire. Or even sometimes it's time just to put it on the shelf and go about on a different journey of self-discovery, and later on you'll find that it integrates itself into your path exactly how it's supposed to. Okay? I hope that makes sense. So let's go into the tarot and see what is coming out. So I'm going back into my Everyday Witch tarot deck again. This is a 4-card spread. I let these cards drop as I fan them in front of me face down. So I'm not looking at the cards yet. I already have 4 in front of me. At the bottom, we do have Temperance. Temperance is the card of Sagittarius. Temperance deals with so many, it's Sagittarius energy. Temperance deals with so many things. Okay, so you might have heard people say that Temperance is the Earth Angel card of the tarot. That is because Sagittarius has very, very powerful ties to the 144 frequency. This is my opinion as to why. If you break down Sagittarius, the word itself, into gematria, and you break it down and you add up the word in number, it breaks down to 144. It's the only name in the zodiac wheel that does that. Okay, so it has a 144 alignment. Sagittarius is the final fire sign on the zodiac wheel. It is mutable fire. All the fire signs connect us with codes, okay, with your God codes. Aries connects you with the God codes that help you to define yourself and your identity, and therefore connects you to the mind of God. Leo helps to connect you with your purpose, and it therefore connects you to the heart of God. Sagittarius is the integration of the mind and the heart of God, activated, actualized in you in accordance with who you are as a God particle, and your ability to then begin to live that out and walk it on the earth. So Sagittarius is the sign on the zodiac that allows us to be who we are cosmologically and to anchor it into the earth, to anchor in our multi-dimensional infinite truth and wisdom, and to walk in that and live it, okay, on the earth planes. Sagittarius is also the sign of the zodiac. It is Gemini's sister sign. Gemini opens our minds to everything, okay, opens your mind to everything. Gemini gives you all this information that you can access, and then Virgo helps you to discern what you need. Sagittarius, on the other hand, helps you to take the mind expansion that Gemini opens you up to, and to learn how having come through the rest of the zodiac wheel since Gemini, so through the lessons and the wisdom of Cancer, Leo, Virgo, Libra, and Scorpio, once you get to Sagittarius, now it's time to move into not only the expansion of mind, but the expansion of heart that allows for you to travel again in accordance with your frequency and gifts. So in regular astrology, Sagittarius is the sign over travel, but for me as a reader, that travel isn't about hopping on an airplane. It's about your ability, like I said in the reading yesterday, and also in the full moon in Aquarius, I brought this up. It is your ability to use your mind to think and to see something in your third eye and connect it with the feeling that you want to experience and to be there instantly. Sagittarius is the sign of the zodiac that helps you to travel multidimensionally in accordance with your own unique passport based upon your frequency. Why is this important? Because there's some kind of story here that you are holding on to about yourself that is actually limiting you, that it's time to let go of and balance out and alchemize. This is something, this is a spiritual story because temperance deals with both fire and water energy, so that's spirit and emotions. This is a spiritual story that you have like connected to because there's some kind of resonance of truth in it, but it's not the whole thing, and you have too much of a heart attachment to it, especially considering it's not the whole truth of who you are. It's limiting you in some way. And the Ace of Swords means that there's some kind of clarity that wants to come, and the Four of Cups also shows that this is something that is causing you undue weight in your emotional fields, undue worry, and this is something that's been weighing in your emotions. It needs to go. The Four of Cups is the final decan of Cancer energy. It speaks of the time to relinquish the heaviness of energies that have been the foundation of cycles, that it's now time to shift. It's time to shift into a higher cycle. It's therefore time to relinquish the emotional foundation that set the previous one. Okay, so what we have here in the overarching theme, we have the Sun. This is Leo energy. So far we have two major arcanas, and both of them are fire. And this is what I'm telling you. The fire signs deal with your God code, with the truth of who you are divinely. Leo connects you to the heart. Not for nothing, we have the number 19 here twice. Okay, so we have the 19 card coming out of the Oracle, and we have the number 19 card of Leo. In the challenge position, we have the 9 of Cups. This is Piscean energy. This is 20 to 29 degrees Pisces. Okay. In the challenge position, the 9 of Cups speaks of, well, when you're dealing with the Piscean energy, you're dealing with hidden energies, hidden enemies. This is something that is, again, tying you emotionally to something that isn't of you. There's an emotional thread that has you connected to a story where you've been expecting an outcome and you're not getting that outcome because it's not your true story. And it's not your true story not because something beautiful isn't lined up. It's not your true story because you're actually worthy of something bigger. This is, again, something that somebody has told you, you know, and that you've held on to kind of to get you this far, and it's fine. It got you to this point, but it's time to surrender this story for something bigger. You're bigger than this thing that somebody has tried to rope you into, which is why you're not actualizing it. It's not even that you're not actualizing something at this point because you need to, you're being blocked by like something malicious or nefarious, although, you know, take it as it resonates. This person could have done this to purposely put emotional blocks in your field. It is absolutely possible. But most importantly, you're not actualizing this because it's not for you. And it's not for you because although from your vantage point of where you've already been, especially in this lifetime, it seems like something you want, it's not going to actually bring you soul satisfaction. That's the Sun. It's not going to bring you soul satisfaction, Nine of Cups. It's not. It might bring you a temporary ego hit because you've hit a milestone that you thought you wanted. But that's going to bring you right back to this place of searching again. Leo, Pisces, Sagittarius. So this is all about needing to break out of the borders of something to come back into alignment with truth, okay? So the next card is what you are not focusing on that you need to hone your energy on a little bit more. That is the Knight of Cups, okay? So the Knight of Cups is all about following your heart. It's following the direction of your soul. It's following what actually lights you up. It's following what takes you home to yourself. Your heart is the light that will always guide you back into your truth. And the Hermit, Virgo, is what helps you to really tune into the light of your heart and to trust in the guidance that is brought forth from your own soul. And this energy is speaking about how if you're questioning your journey, if you are needing to figure out how it is to get back on track and into alignment, you need not look any further than what excites you. You know, there's a lot of childlike energy here with the Knight of Cups and the Sun. Knights connect you to teenage energy. There may be things that you want to connect with from your teenage years that you let go. You might be going through some inner teenage healing. This could have even been something that somebody said to you when you were a teenager that you've been holding on to. And it's time to let it go. And it's time to let it go because you're past it. Even if you had accomplished this, it may have satisfied you years ago, but where you're going and where we are in ascension, it's no longer what your focus needs to be. And if you don't let it go, it's going to weigh you down, is kind of what I'm getting here. And the guidance is the Two of Wands. It's okay to change direction. It's okay to change direction. You will be called many times on this journey to change direction. I know in the old world we were very, very obsessed with picking something and sticking to it, right? Which doesn't work for high frequency, highly evolved beings. It doesn't work. We weren't here to pick something and stick to it. We were here to evolve. And evolution requires constant change and adjustment. There's something that is calling you higher. And you need to be okay with pivoting. You need to be okay with shifting. You need to be okay with even changing your view of who you are in the world and how you're supposed to show up. There's a lot of energy here that has kind of defined you, and you've allowed those definitions to maybe even unconsciously sculpt you. And it's time to really reconnect with the Temperance and the Sun being the only major arcanas. It's time for you to reconnect with your God code. It's time for you to reconnect with the heart of Source, your heart piece. Your heart piece. Look at the Knight of Cups. He's running around with a cup full of hearts, right? And he in this card he looks a little bit, you know, directionless in the face because he's following so many different heart pieces, and it could be argued that none of those belong to him, or maybe one of them is, but he's not focused on that. So where do you need to hone in your energy and connect with what it is that brings you joy, that reconnects you to the heart of God, that helps you to express that aspect of the heart of God that you came here to actualize through yourself on the earth planes? Where do you need to like excuse me, connect with that? Where are you not living and walking in truth with this Temperance energy? And I'm not saying that you're walking purposely in deception. I am saying that you're not walking in accordance with the fullness of who you are. And that also could be with that Sagittarius energy. A few things are coming through. For one thing, you lack the faith to believe that you deserve something bigger. Another thing is that if this is more of a nefarious energy you've been dealing with, somebody purposely has been doing something to keep you set back emotionally, okay, very specifically emotionally, because I'm tuning into the Sagittarius energy of the archer, right, with the bow and arrow, where you are pulled backwards in order to launch you forwards. But if you keep on being pulled backwards, and you keep being pulled backwards, and you're not given the ability to move forward when you hit that perfect note of tension, and you keep being pulled back, then eventually the arrow just drops and it stays in the same position. And there's something here about these energies supposed being like dragging you back and like kind of leaving you there. And it's time for you to see this and to get up. You were meant for more. You were meant for so much more than what you might believe right now. Your soul knows this. If this is your message, when I say that, you know this. And if you are completely honest with yourself, the story you've been listening to and you've been following, it brings up a very specific emotion. It brings up like a little bit of resentment, I would say. Not like bitter, but a tiny bit of like resentment. What's the emotion? It brings up the resentment that comes when somebody tries to put you, when somebody underestimates you and tries to keep you in their underestimation. And even if mentally you haven't connected with that energy, you feel it. You know how you feel like when you were in school and you got overlooked for something even though you knew you could do it, and so you were kept doing the same thing again and again and again, unable to prove yourself. This is like the energy of not being able to prove who you are. And again, this might not be something that you're consciously tuning into, but you feel it. That feeling that I just described, you feel it. You felt it when this person was saying these things to you. You felt like it was limiting you in a certain way. It agitated your soul. And for some of you, instead of taking that cue and recognizing the agitation was a sign that the story wasn't in true alignment with you, you took it as a challenge to kind of like, it's almost like religious thinking. Where many of you will know, like I became a born-again Christian when I first began to awaken, and when you're like told these things, it's almost like it's a mark of ingratitude or disrespect to kind of challenge the person who says it to you, or and not even to just challenge them in person, but even to walk away and challenge it in your mind. You feel guilty. That in and of itself should be a red flag for you. You should not feel guilty about diving into anything that anyone has proclaimed over you. For some of you, this is something that somebody prophesied over you as a child. Okay, prophesied over you as a child. Maybe for some of you, prophesied over you as a teenager. For some of you, this is like literally like a word curse, okay, that is still lingering in your fields. 1919 on my clock as I say that. You need to break all word curses. You need to break all false identities. You need to break yourself out of every lie, persona, mask, program that another has sought to put you in for whatever reason, whether they did it consciously, unconscious, it doesn't matter. Break yourself out of it. If you need help, I have decrees that are on my Ko-fi. It will be listed in the description box and the comment section below. I'll make sure I put it in the comment section this time around. Those decrees are for free or by donation. You don't have to use them word for word. In fact, I encourage you guys, when you use my decrees, to use them as inspiration to craft your own, because there's nothing more powerful than your words of power over yourself. Okay? You can use them. You know, my decrees are very powerful. They are. But again, I will never I will never be the one to say that my words have more power over anyone else's existence than my own. So, do what you feel led to do. But even for some of you, the solar return decree might be something you want to work with. That's the most recent one I wrote at the beginning of August. You might want to do some work around reclaiming those lost parts of your identity that you've lost out because you've been living in accordance with deceptive narratives that have pulled you into lower timelines, because there is some kind of word curse or attachment to a story, a title, something that somebody told you you were supposed to be, and you are meant to be more than that. Okay? I want to go into one of my little decks for guidance. Bear with me a second, let me just get to it. Let's see. And then we'll close this out. I love it. This card says, what other people think about you isn't your business. What do you think about you? I know it's back to front, but I just want you to see. I already said to some of you, like, I read shit back to front is my thing, but what other people think about you isn't your business. What do you think about you? Ooh. This is the end of this bloodline, lineage, or dynasty. Death of ancestral antichrist ascension entity. So the death of some anti-ascension entity. So for some of you, this even has to do with some kind of initiation. I don't want to dive too deep into this. I can't dive too deep into this right now because I have an appointment. But social media cleanse. Clear, block, mute, unfollow, unsubscribe. Okay, so for some of you, these energies that you have been following online are feeding you stories about yourself that are limiting. For others of you, what was coming through, this thing that has spoken over you, that has had you kind of stuck and limited, is a part of something to do with maybe an initiation or a group that you wanted to be a part of. Okay, so for some of my beautiful women of color who've come to work with me before, and you've asked me how I feel about certain like African traditional religions, spiritual practices rather, and if you need to be initiated to work with the Orisha and all of that, and I've shared my opinion. You don't have to agree with me, and that is that the old way of having to initiate people into those systems is coming to an end in the new earth. There will be no more trying to be a gatekeeper to another person's ascension. There was a time where that was necessary also in the old world, but it was taken advantage of, and a lot of these beings have been energy harvesting off their ability to connect with people's energy through these initiation rites, through these things where people trust them with, their cosmic blueprint. There's been a lot of energy harvesting. There's been a lot of destiny swapping. There's been a lot of telling people that there's something they're not, something that they are less than in order to take from them. So if that's your story, you need to take back your power from every person who's ever tried to initiate you into something. You need to take back your authority. You need to take back your story. You need to declare yourself as the sole author over your destiny and your truth. You need to break the energy of the words that were spoken and sown into you through repetition, through these rituals that somehow, somewhere, still have you skewed in your thinking about who you are, and therefore following a pathway that is less than what it is that you're here to have, and less than who it is you actually are. Don't let any other being outside of yourself define who you are. Don't let them. Okay? So that's what I have for you. I hope that this reading was helpful and insightful. I hope that it helps to enlighten you about what it is you need to be focusing on. Did I tell you all of these energies? So the Two of Wands is 0 to 10 degrees. Aries is how you begin a new cycle, okay? The Knight of Cups is Cancer, Leo, Pisces energy. The Nine of Cups is 20 to 29 degrees Pisces, so this is dealing with hidden enemies, and it can have to do very much so with religion, spirituality practices, or anything that is designed to imprison you and to keep you from moving into the Aries energy, which is the Two of Wands, the next cycle. So after the Nine of Cups, final minor arcana card on the zodiac wheel is the Ten of Cups before it opens into the first decan of Aries, which is the Two of Wands. It's time to get rid, and this is like some kind of legacy thing here. So it's a group, probably a group dynamic, or a group influence over this person who's spoken over you, whether it's a religion, family, it doesn't matter. It's time for you to break out of this, okay? So the Sun is Leo and the Temperance is Sagittarius, okay? So those are all the cards of the zodiac. The 19 card is a Leo energy, again, Libran in astrology. Number 3 is Gemini energy astrologically, but the Empress card in the tarot, okay? So it's time for this to close out. Alrighty, so I'm sending you guys so much love. For those of you who'd like to join me tomorrow, Saturday the 24th of August, for my group session called Alchemizing Anger, learning how to wield your shadow as protector. There are still spaces available for that. You can book your place through Ko-Fi, and I look forward to seeing you. It's a small group again. I think there's only like maybe 8 spots for this. I did host it last week, and it was a lovely time and turnout, and I look forward to seeing some of you there tomorrow. So if you'd like to join, then please make sure to get your ticket, okay? And I will be back again with more of these readings, and I have more events happening as we close out August. Very specifically, next Wednesday the 28th, I have my regular midweek group check-in session with personal guidance and card pull. And then next Saturday, August 31st, I will have a group check-in session with live card pull and personal guidance, very specifically in preparation for the new moon in Virgo. The new moon in Virgo is the gateway into the materialization of the new earth contracts for those who are ready. So it's a big time to get our minds right, especially minds and hearts right. So if you'd like to join me for either one of those events, the information for that will also be in the description box below. If you'd like to book with me for a soul recovery session, a one-to-one, you can do so also through my website or directly with me via email, solaraspeaks@proton.me. If you would like to donate to my further growth, liberation, and ability to show up here and do what it is I came here to do at this time, you can do so through my Ko-Fi or my PayPal, and that information is also in the description box and comment section below. But I will see you guys again soon. Take care.